At this time, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Walsh?
Here.
Commissioner Doherty?
Here.
Chairman Strack?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Here.
Commissioner Sabota?
Here.
Commissioner Thacker?
Here.
Commissioner Gerda?
Here. Excellent, thank you, Tina. At this time, I'd like to move to item number 4, which would be public input on tonight's agenda. So the public input portion is for non-agenda items. So if there's something you'd like to discuss here tonight that is not on an agenda item, please step to the podium.
Good evening, Mike Maracek.
Mike, bear with me just a half a second.
Sure.
Did you want to speak during the item that's on tonight, or did you want to do it before?
I can do it before because it isn't officially related to it. I would
Okay.
say it kind of sparked it all.
Excellent. I'm going to swear you in. If you would, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Michael Maracek, 4582 Loyola Drive, McHenry, Illinois.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Part of the reason we're here today is later on an agenda item in the agenda is for a zoning map amendment at the corner of Bull Valley and Ridgeview Drive, which is, I'm here representing our family funeral home, Colonial Funeral Home. So getting the notice, first off, let me say we welcome neighbors. We're excited to get some more action over there, so we're excited to see that activity. But seeing the zoning notice sparked up some old history for the property for us. I called Doug and asked kind of what the appropriate action might be, so he had suggested maybe bring it to this board's attention. I've got some documents here I'll share with you, but the short version is when the funeral home property was developed, because the master development of that whole area was not moving, we ended up doing a temporary detention system through the agreement between the city and the developer at the time. And the agreement was because they wanted the entire development to happen at one time. They didn't want to keep piece parting it. Once the development would get kicked off, they would do a central detention in that region, and then our detention would feed into that detention area. So seeing the new property starting to take activity in the area, again, positive, we like that idea. We just wanted to bring to the table and try and find out what the steps would be to make sure that detention does go in and we have the ability to tie into that detention, mainly because the whole concept is the detention in the rear of the facility was always designed for future parking. There are several occasions where we are at max capacity and we could use more parking there. So if we lose that detention as an expansion area, we become landlocked. So I didn't know the formal procedure to bring that to the attention. Again, it was more of just a zoning notice, kind of some activity in that development again. So I'll hand out this packet, and I don't know from handing this out to the committee where it goes, but we just want to get on the formal record that, you know, trying to find out what the plan for that master detention would be.
Sure.
So I don't know if any of you have any direct questions, or if you guys need to kind of take that in and, you know, learn a little more about it, but I'll answer any questions you may have on, you know, the topic.
Thank you, Mike, I appreciate it. I'm going to turn it over to Doug at this point to just at least make comments so the commissioners are aware of the conversation that you guys have already had as well.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So Mike had contacted me. We had some exchanges back and forth about how this property, his family's property, and one of the subject properties on the agenda are part of a very expansive property whereby the detention is supposed to be regionalized. and his detention is not, as well as the detention proposed on the subject property on the agenda is not. So there was just some concern when he saw that, you know, like he said, if his detention remains on the property, there's no room for expansion. So we, there was a dialogue started with the property owner, or rekindled, I should say, with Mr. Pacini, and he was open, I would say, because the petitioner for tonight's case had some concern as well, because they have a vested interest in their site. So we did have some exchange with Mr. Pacini, and he was open to the regional detention concept, and that, you know, that dialogue had gone on. So I think we need to go back to Mr. Pacini, and there has to be some sort of trigger for when that occurs, and you know, because this is a big property, and which, you know, maybe where the water, you know, if there's a ridge line or where that detention is gonna go, and sort of have this property's kind of been master planned in terms of wetlands, and there's a sort of a spine road that goes through to Dartmoor. So I think we need to follow up with Mr. Pacini. I think the property as proposed tonight is fine, but I think there needs to be some answer and resolution so that the Maracheks do have some resolution to their question of the detention, and when that will be turned into a regional detention, so they're not hanging out there forever. So I think we need to follow up with Mr. Pacini. Does everyone kind of understand? I know I kind of...
How soon would that take place?
I don't know. I think we need to nail that down. Because I think, you know, your property was developed, what, in the
2001.
Okay. So obviously, we don't want to wait another 17, 18 years to bring this up again.
We just didn't want to get lost in translation.
Right,
You know,
sure. You know,
changing hands and committees.
Absolutely. So, I think, thank you for, Mike, for providing this to us. I was not on the commission at the time this was done, so good for us to not have to go back and pull it. I appreciate you bringing that in for us. And I think as all of the commissioners will look at the next petitioner having that to say in that as well, right? They've got a detention issue that they'll need to maintain in that for themselves, for their own stormwater. And then, not that we need to tie your property to tonight's petitioner's issue, but I think staff can go back to Pacini now, and we can start to lay out what that future looks like. And my suggestion to staff will be for us to put this on an agended item for us, and probably contact Pacini and get him in to do that as well. And then you'll get petitioned for that as well, is my guess. I just think that's probably the only way for us to really get it documented at this point and start to move it forward. Would you agree, Doug?
well, we probably could do an agreement,
Yeah.
a written agreement that would, you know, between, you know, whether it's between you, the city, and Pacini, or whether we're involved, but it's some sort of written agreement.
Yeah, and I think that would satisfy us as well. We just, you know, as you can see from the minutes and stuff, it's just meant to be temporary.
Sure.
You know, there's nothing written or committed there, so I think that would work.
My guess is your new neighbor would really like to know that that's happening as well, so. Excellent.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you, Mike, appreciate it. Anyone else from the gallery who'd like to speak on a non-agenda item? At this time, I'll close the public input. Moving on to item number 5 would be the consideration of the August 15th meeting minutes from the standard regular Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. If there are no changes or revisions, I would be looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Sabota, do I have a second?
Second.
Miller on a second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Walsh.
Abstain.
Commissioner Doherty.
Abstain.
Chairman Strack.
Yes.
Commissioner Miller.
Yes.
Commissioner Sabota.
Yes.
Commissioner Thacker.
Yes.
Commissioner Gerda.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. At this time, excuse me, I'd like to open file Z935. The applicant is Troy Birch, 802 East 86th Street, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46204. The requested action is a zoning map amendment request from I-1 Industrial to O1 Local Office, and a conditional use permit and preliminary subdivision plat approval to allow for an institutional use skilled nursing home facility. The location of the subject property is located at the northeast corner of Bull Valley Road and Ridgeview Road.
You guys can sit at the table.
Yeah, you guys can jump up to the
Go
table
ahead.
here, sure. Grab extra chairs if you need as well. At this time, I would like to note that we do have the publication from the Northwest Herald, a signed affidavit along with the return receipts for the certified mailing to the adjacent properties. Any attorneys at the table?
Yes.
Excellent, please raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Each, please state your name and address for the record.
Nicole Jablonski,
Address as well, please.
6840 West Chewy, Niles, Illinois.
Great, thank you.
Troy Birch, Leo Brown Group, 802 East 86th Street, Indianapolis, Indiana.
Good evening, my name's Andy Heinen, I'm with Kimley Horn Associates, I'm the civil engineer on the project. Our address is 1001 Warrenville Road in Lisle, Illinois.
Excellent, thank you. Tell us why you're here tonight.
Good evening. As I said before, my name is Troy Birch. I'm the Director of Development Operations for Leo Brown Group. We are a medical healthcare developer out of Indianapolis, Indiana. We're excited to be presenting this project to you tonight, corner of Bull Valley and Ridgeview. I also have with me Bill Morton, who is our Vice President of Business Development. We're excited about this project. We feel that this proposed state-of-the-art, fully licensed facility, long-term care and rehab facility will fill a needed void in the McHenry market for short-term, long-term, post-acute care residents. This evening, we're requesting favorable approval for a zoning map amendment from I-1 to O1 to allow for local office use. We're also requesting a conditional use permit and a preliminary plat approval, and our team is available to answer any questions you may have.
Great, thank you so much. Staff, please give us your report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So there's three requests for tonight. The first is a zoning map amendment from I-1 Industrial to O1 Local Office. The second is a conditional use permit for institutional use, and the third is preliminary subdivision plat approval. For the zoning map amendment, it's to O1 Local Office. This is consistent with the zoning to the west of the property, the office land uses to the south, as well as Northwestern Medicine Hospital to the south of the subject property. The site is located on a major state highway at a lighted intersection. There's considerable traffic on Bull Valley Road. There's also thousands of residents within a few miles of the site, and it's pretty much equidistant from Route 31 and Crystal Lake Road. Staff supports the requested zoning map amendment and feels it's appropriate for the location. The conditional use permit to allow an institutional use. The applicant is requesting conditional use permit for an institutional use. An institutional use is defined as a building housing 25 or more persons that are cared for on a 24-hour basis. And this can be for anything. They just need to be cared for on a 24-hour basis. So that's how it categorizes as an institutional use. So there will be people in this building on a 24-hour basis. There's 3 access drives, and there's a service drive. That's the northernmost access. Staff supports this conditional use. It fits in with a lot of the uses in the area, a lot of medical uses in the area, a lot of medical offices, a hospital. So it's very compatible. Preliminary plat, the applicant's requesting preliminary plat approval. There's just some minor comments on the plat. This is preliminary plat and preliminary engineering. They would have to come back for final plat and final engineering when they're finished with that. But couple comments I made, just extension of the bike path and the along Bull Valley and Ridgeview Drive. They are dedicating right-of-way along Bull Valley Road. They have to work with McHenry County Department of Transportation. They have 3 access points, none off Bull Valley Road, 3 off Ridgeview Drive, 2 mainly to serve customers. And then the third point is a service drive, although their access drive internally is kind of a ring road sort of. And very, very nice building. I think it'll really add to the area right on Bull Valley Road, so I think it'll be a great addition to McHenry. $17.4 million improvement to the area just with the building. At this time, staff's recommending approval of the zoning map amendment from I-1 Industrial to O1 Local Office. Staff finds the requirements set forth in Table 33 for zoning map amendments have been met. Staff's recommending approval of the conditional use permit to allow an institutional use subject to the condition that the project's developed in accordance with the plans you see before you. I've referenced the dates in the staff report. And approval of the preliminary plat of subdivision prepared by McHenry Senior Partners subdivision, prepared by Compass Surveying, dated the plat 6/29/18. And then with a couple conditions with the bike pass, and then the right-of-way dedication. It's showing 15 feet, they are dedicating 20 feet. That's just something they're gonna fix on the final plat. And then they are going through engineering, so their comments have been reviewed preliminarily by our engineer, and that'll be ongoing, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Just for clarification, Doug, item number 2 there, the conditional use, you also find that all of the requirements in Table 31 have been met?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, yes.
That's right.
All table requirements in Table 31 have been met for the conditional use.
Excellent, thank you so much. At this time, I will open to questions, concerns from commissioners, and I will start with Commissioner Walsh.
I don't have anything right now.
Excellent. Commissioner Gerda.
I don't have anything at this point.
Commissioner Thacker.
Nothing right now.
Excellent. Commissioner Miller.
I'm good.
Commissioner Sabota.
I don't have anything right now.
Commissioner Doherty.
Are we going sidewalks all the way down, both sides? On Bull Valley and Ridgeview?
Probably do it.
No, it's the fire department property right next door.
It's to the west, on the railroad tracks.
Okay, so, I was just wondering.
So
about
I'll
the
be able to
Bull
answer that
Valley
question.
sidewalk.
So, on the east side of Ridgeview Drive, we are proposing a new sidewalk pretty much from our north property line down to Bull Valley Road to connect into the signalized intersection. We are working with the county in regards to dedicating additional right-of-way where that path would be installed in the future.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, Commissioner Doherty, the bike path will be
Right.
in front of that building with some luck next year.
Okay. That was my question.
Excellent.
Thank you.
At this time, I will open the public portion of the meeting. Anyone from the gallery who'd like to speak on this, please step to the podium. My list of signers, I have Mr. Morocek and Sam. I'm guessing you're here for the next one, correct, sir?
Correct, thank you.
Excellent, just wanted to verify. Seeing no movement from the gallery, I will close the public portion of the meeting. Turn any questions or concerns back over to the commissioners.
I just wanted to thank you for a complete packet. It's nice when we have all the information, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Sabota, Commissioner Doherty, anything?
No, great looking building.
Excellent. If there are no concerns, I would be looking for a motion.
I probably would make at least 2 motions.
I was going to break it into three.
Three's great too.
So, before that motion comes, thank you, Doug, we'll go with each one of those items that is on the agenda. So, number 1 would be the map amendment, number 2 would be the conditional use, number 3 would be the preliminary plat. I just think it will keep things much cleaner if we have them separated. So whoever would like to make that first motion would be only making it on the map amendment, please.
I'll make that motion to approve the zoning map amendment from I-1 industrial to O-1 local office, finding that all requirements of table 33 have been met.
Excellent, thank you. Commissioner Miller, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Sabota? Any other additional questions or concerns before we call the roll? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Walsh?
Yes.
Commissioner Doherty?
Yes.
Chairman Strack?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Sabota?
Yes.
Commissioner Thacker?
Yes.
Commissioner Gerda?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Excellent. Thanks for coming in, Doug, I'll be in touch.
Oh, we gotta do
We
the
got
other.
to-
Oh. See how I am? We usually do this in one, not three. Moving on to item number 2 on the agenda.
You don't watch us 1 out of 3? That's not sex.
We don't normally split them because there's usually one.
Right.
Sorry, number 2, approval of the conditional use. Do I have a motion for that, please?
I'll make a motion. Report Z 935, a conditional use permit for institutional use, skilled nursing home facility, and table 33.
31.
Is it 31?
31, sir.
It has been met.
And you want the one condition that's involved as well?
Correct.
Commissioner Doherty, excellent. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Walsh on a second. Again, any questions or concerns? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Walsh?
Yes.
Commissioner Doherty?
Yes.
Chairman Strack?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Sabota?
Yes.
Commissioner Thacker?
Yes.
Commissioner Gerda?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Excellent. We'll do the last one now as well. Item number 3, do I have a motion for the approval of the prelim plat of subdivision?
I'll make a motion for the approval of the preliminary plat of the subdivision from McHenry Senior Partner subdivision, prepared by Compass Surveying Limited Company, and to include the 4 bullet points listed, and finding that the requirements of table 31 have been met.
No
No
tables on
tables.
this one.
No tables on.
No tables on number 3.
Okay. Makes it easier.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Gerda on a second. Again, any other questions or concerns from the commissioners? Commissioner Miller?
So are we gonna add the bullet point about engineering and drainage, or is that gonna be handled by staff?
I would handle it as staff at this point. I would hate to nail them down when we don't have specifics.
Okay.
I would hate to add it to this petitioner when it's really a subdivision overall.
I agree.
Excellent. Any other questions or concerns? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Walsh?
Yes.
Commissioner Doherty?
Yes.
Chairman Strack?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Sabota?
Yes.
Commissioner Thacker?
Yes.
Commissioner Gerda?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Now we're done.
There we go.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to close file E935. Thank you, Doug, for your touch.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Just to let you know, Doug's been great to work with, and staff has been too, so I appreciate it.
Thank you, appreciate that. That might be fitting. Excellent, thank you. At this time, I'd like to open file C-938. The applicant is H.B. Brewer, 1235 Zhang Drive in Algonquin, Illinois, 60102. The requested action is a conditional use permit for assembly use, including a 7-night-per-week use as a PADS, public action to deliver shelter site. The location of the subject property is 1809 South Illinois Route 31 here in McHenry. For the record, I do have the publication notice from the Northwest Herald, the signed affidavit, along with the return receipts for the certified mailing to the adjacent properties. Thank you, Don. Here we go. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Please, each of you, state your name and address for the record.
Ryan Chevrier, 960 South Roxbury Court, Round Lake, Illinois.
Thank you.
H.B. Brewer, 1235 Zhang Drive, Algonquin, Illinois.
Ben Cornick, 5112 Cambridge Drive, McHenry, Illinois.
Excellent, thank you. Tell us why you're here tonight.
We're here to bring before you the opportunity for us as a church and our facility to work with the Pioneer Center and create a PADS location for 7 nights each week.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Staff, please give us your report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The chapel currently holds worship services at McHenry West High School. They have for several years. They appeared before the Planning and Zoning Commission on July 25th of 2013. They subsequently purchased a property at 414 South Crystal Lake Road. Obtained an assembly use to construct a new church building. And then they annexed and obtained an assembly use at 1809 South Illinois Route 31, and they received an assembly use and approval to do a public action to deliver shelter facility for 1 night at that location. They want to do a pad shelter and partner with the Pioneer Center to do a pad shelter for 7 nights. So essentially, they're expanding that assembly use, which requires obtaining another conditional use permit. So hence coming before this board for the conditional use permit. They are proposing to remodel partial interior of the 1809 facility, 6,000 square feet, I think approximately, and partner with the Pioneer Center. And then they would relocate the PADS facility from Woodstock to McHenry. And I already said, obtain a new conditional use permit. And they're currently on well and septic. As you recall, they have an annexation agreement, and they are going to build a new church facility at that location. I think they still plan to do that, but they have not hooked on to water and sewer yet. In order to do the PADS facility, they would need to hook up to water because they would need to sprinkler the building. However, they could use the septic system. They have already had multiple inspections. They already confirmed that. The PADS facility would have a capacity of approximately 60 to 65 people. You know, I've had the pleasure of working with these organizations, the Chapel and the Pioneer Center, and they're great partners. They're two organizations anybody would be proud to work with, and to have them work together is just phenomenal. And this is a great community project, and this is something that the community needs, and to have it at this facility is just a great opportunity. This would give a lot of continuity to a lot of people in the community to have a facility for 7 nights a week at one location. It would be a permanent 7-night per week facility, and it would have a lot of services. It would have a lot of people there behind them. There would be employees there. They can get more into that. I can't describe that as good as they can. It's also what I'll describe it as. I think it's a good location. It's on a state roadway, but it's not too far from Crystal Lake, from McHenry. It's less than a quarter mile from Affordable Healthcare Clinic, from a hospital, from Mercy, from Northwestern, Integra. Pace runs up and down 31. there's a lot of reasons why this is a good location. Staff at this time is recommending approval of the conditional use permit to allow the assembly use to include a 7-night per week use as a public action pad site at 1809 South Illinois Route 31, with the conditions that they need to, I'm working with HB Brewer, Mr. Brewer, to, and the chapel, they have to fine tune some of their annexation agreement points with this, as well as their church facility. That has to be done at the council level, and we're working on that, so we'll bring that at the same time as we bring this to the council. And they're working with the building department if this is approved, and they're hoping that by next year they can get this done. So I'm pretty confident that they can do that, so I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Just for clarification, Doug, the second item on that recommendation is for them to be hooked up to city water.
Yes.
And so sprinklers and all of that is what they're working with staff on.
Yeah, that's correct. And they do have to do the build out. They have to build out. They're not just gonna go in the building, they're actually building out within the building, so.
Excellent. Thank you so much. At this time, I would like to open questions or concerns from commissioners, and at this time, I will start with Commissioner Doherty.
Okay. All right, so the septic, you're gonna run, it's fine for running 60 or 65 people, and you're just requesting water be brought there for sprinklers?
The water's on the east side of 31. They have to, yes, they have to tie in the water and install sprinklers.
Wonderful. All right. Now, do the clients leave during the day, or do they stay all day? How does that work?
They will be there all day, some of them, and they have the availability. We have 2 planned. We have 2 day rooms in addition to the sleeping rooms that's planned. There will be an opportunity for some cooking and preparation, some meals. But our folks from Pioneer Center are here, so if you have specific questions about their operation, Frank or Sam would be able to answer those.
Okay. And then, so at night, like 4 or 5 o'clock when 31 South gets really busy, and the lighting and the sidewalk situation, how might you address, people walking down that road? It occurs now, doesn't it, kind of? I see a lot of that happening on South Route 31. Is there a safe way, or how would you move people around?
I have not seen, I'm not there probably as much as y'all who live in the town, but I have not seen that many in front of our building walking up and down there. Now, maybe a little bit further north.
Yeah, well, it'll certainly be north of where you're at, but
Right.
I could
Just
see,
haven't
from the
haven't
hospital,
seen
maybe
it.
trying to make the move down that way.
I know part of the annexation agreement is the expectation that we have sidewalks provided, and we work with the widening of State Route 31 at that point. So I think you just gotta have increased lighting and increased sidewalks. It's a crazy place eventually, and I know whether you guys are part of this or not, but the light that has been under appeal by many people at that intersection there would probably help traffic at some point, but I'm not speaking to that because that's beyond my pay grade.
I just wanted to put it out there because I know
Sure,
it's always,
absolutely.
I always see people, it's really busy then.
And if you wouldn't mind, Commissioner Doherty, I'll rephrase it a little bit. Will people be walking to the facility? Is that how some of those people may be addressing the facility? And Sam, if you'd like to step to the
Yeah.
podium, I'd be happy to swear you in quickly so
Sure,
that
it's
you
no
can
problem.
jump in as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Step up to the podium for me if you would.
Yeah, they know much more than that.
Sure, absolutely. I think it's a valid question from Commissioner Doherty, and if we can get some clarification, that might help. Sam, if you wouldn't mind, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Sam Tenuto, Huntley 11304 Caldwell, and also I'm co-CEO with my friend Frank, Pioneer Center right down the road.
Thank you so much. If you would just address the Commissioner Doherty's question and mine rephrase, do you think that you will have foot traffic along Route 31 to use the facility?
Anything's possible. What Pioneer offers is we have a transportation system, so we have a shuttle service at Pioneer. All services at Kishwaukee will transfer over to the new site as we zone and get it up and running. So we have a few different buses, a small bus, van. And what we do is we offer set routes throughout the community at certain designations. A lot of them are social service or business, financial related. And we also have ticketing. So the day before, a family, a couple, a person, a runaway youth can submit a ticket for an individual stop anywhere throughout the county. The vast majority of people we serve rely on that transportation. Of course, you may have a couple of people that may walk. And if we see that, though, we are always very good double back saying, hey, you know, we have transportation.
Excellent, excellent. Does that answer that question,
Yeah.
Commissioner Doherty?
Wow.
Yeah, excellent. No, I think it's a great question to address as well. Thank you.
Call me up as you guys.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Let's see, I guess that's it for the moment.
Excellent. Commissioner Sabota?
I don't have anything right.
Commissioner Miller?
Just in transparency, I do want to disclose that I serve on the McHenry County Housing Authority, so I am familiar with the OFAC and its services. I think this is an awesome proposal, and it has the right partners in place. So I thank you for this. I don't have any questions, because Sam just said that everything from Kishwaukee Valley would be relocated here. That would have been my only question. Are all services going to come here? And I think when you put all the services in one space, you are doing the best service for the constituents that need that. So it's good to hear that all of those services, and then Sue Rose back there, she's the director of the Old Firehouse Assistance Center, had also said that those services are also coming to you. So I think it's awesome that you're putting everything in one house. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Mr. Brewer. It's an awesome plan.
Excellent. Thank you, Commissioner Miller. Commissioner Thacker?
The one thing I had pertained to the, what could be the foot traffic on 31, but that was more than answered by the gentleman who stepped up to the podium, so that's it.
Excellent. Mr. Greer?
No questions.
Commissioner Walsh?
I guess. Just for transparency, I go to the chapel, so it's not on staff though. Transparency.
Yeah.
Is it, where's Sam? Sam, is it possible that clients might drive to the facility as well? And then if they do, is there security for their vehicles overnight and like cameras outside and?
Sam, before you answer, I'm gonna make your life difficult and ask you to speak to the podium for me so that it's recorded.
That's fine.
Thank you so much, I'm sorry.
He's getting his steps in.
Kishwaukee Road right now, I would say we have roughly maybe 4 to 6 vehicles at one point for people we serve. Throughout the day, there may be families that drop off individuals. Related to security, we have overnight staff at the site, and that parking lot is very close to where their office is. I'm not sure the chapel related to video surveillance, but it'd be the same mindset. They have space for office for staff during the overnight midnight shift where they are a set of eyes for the entire campus. And my knowledge of Kishwaukee, I'm not aware of any individuals with their personal property or vehicles being broken into. It's possible, but it's been pretty secure.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hopefully I won't make you walk back up.
Public comments.
One more question, Sam. I'm just kidding.
Commissioner Doherty, have you come up with any additionals
No, I'm
before
good.
I go to the public?
No,
Excellent.
I'm good. Thank you.
Not seeing anyone from our board making any motion, I'm gonna open it to the public comment portion now.
Is there a list, or is that back to me?
If you'd like to go back up there.
Yeah, you just got
Anyone
get up
who,
there.
from the public who has signed in and would like to speak, please step to the podium. Mr. Sunudo, I'm not gonna re-swear you in because you're currently in the same one that I've already sworn you in for, so I should be good.
Thank you. You're laughing now, I appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity. What I want to press is that people we serve are important. Over the years, we have seen people, individuals, families, rise above their situation with a level of support that beyond the care and the passion to see them going forward with their lives, you also see an impact on the community. You do see people that come out of homelessness that live within our community and they want to participate with the community. It could be maybe the obvious thing, that they're able to find a job and work at one of the local businesses, but I also do hear the cases where it's simply they want to get back to their kids going to the school that they always went to, They want to go to the same church that they went to. I heard stories about people we serve volunteering. So imagine if you enter homelessness, you enter pretty much a state of chaos. And I promise you, the people we serve, they want to do the same things we want to do. Choosing to serve people that are homeless is a joy. It's a blessing. It's also very challenging. So I do want to emphasize that Pioneer places high importance on caring for this group and operating a smart, well-operated homeless shelter. We are so fortunate to have partnership with the chapel. I'm very proud that Pioneer has always focused on collaboration. You mentioned OFAC, Sue Rose, Rich Ring. We have a Home of the Sparrow here tonight. So Thresholds, AID, the local law enforcement, the fire departments, we have always done our best to collaborate, and nothing will change, because the only way you're successful is you wrap the community around the people that you're trying to help. Powerful pieces at Pioneer Corp, Dayton Street, and we run a great campus on Dayton Street. We're right across the street. So we have tremendous resources right there if anything happens or people need extra support. I guess my final comment is that this has been a community need that's been discussed at a government level, at a stakeholder level for many years. And that being that we need one site to bring stability to the people we serve. I am so thankful. I thank God for the church site partners, Shelley's back there, that have stepped up and picked a given night throughout the week and help people with shelter, food for that night. The reality is, our church partners, they need a break during the summer months. It's all volunteer based for those church site partners. They take the summer off, and there's disruption to the homeless population when we don't have that bed capacity. Also, having people rotate from site to site to site, that is one of the benchmark reasons why we're here today, is because it's hard. If you're a dad with a couple of kids, teenage kids, and you need 10 days to get your life reorganized, if you're picking up your stuff every morning and going to a different church site, it's a blessing to have that church site, but it's also hard. It's hard to wrap your head around whatever it is, getting to your behavioral health services, getting to your job, finding a job. So beyond the passion and the care and the excitement we have with Pastor Ben and his team, the work is important. The parties involved are passionate. We will work absolutely hard around the clock to best serve. We will have the city of McHenry be very proud of this project. It's a community issue, it's a county issue, and with the support of McHenry City, this city is stepping up to really help a community need. So thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate you asking questions, and thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you. Anyone else from the gallery that would like to speak on this agenda item, please step to the podium. Seeing no movement, I will close the public portion of the meeting. Turn it back over to questions or concerns from commissioners. This time headed for Commissioner Walsh.
No, sir.
Commissioner Garrett.
No questions.
Commissioner Thacker.
No.
Commissioner Miller.
I'm good.
Commissioner Sabota. One last round, Commissioner Doherty.
So when this does kick off, there will be no more rotation like to Wonder Lake. It's all out here.
Yep.
Okay.
I do have one more question.
Commissioner Miller.
So given my knowledge base, the date, I'm missing the date at the top of my head, but I know October of 19 is that looming needs to happen before date. Sue, is that the correct date? October of 19?
We're using October 1st as a target date of next year for this project. The church season takes the summer off, and then they resume their services October 1st. So to be respectful and best mindful of the volunteer base for those individual church sites, we'd like to have a plan in place so they don't have to, for example, if we open on November 1st, the churches would put a lot of time and energy throughout the summer to get ready for that October 1st date. We could serve earlier than October 1st. So that time is based on when the churches are reopened. If we're ready to go in the summer, we've talked internally, we'd be ready to go in the summer if that's possible. We're ready to serve.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, good question, thank you.
I'm good.
Excellent. If there's no additional questions or concerns, I would be looking for a motion, and only one this time. I won't confuse myself in the second round.
So I would make that motion to approve a conditional use permit to allow the, an assembly use, including a 7-night per week use as a PADS public action to deliver shelter site at 1809 South Illinois Route 31 with the following conditions. The previously negotiated annexation agreement be renegotiated contemporaneously with this request, and the building shall not be used as an overnight pad site until a final certificate of occupancy is approved, following the complete revisions to the building by the city, including connection to the water system, installation of sprinkler system, and abandonment of the existing well. And we find that everything in table 31 that needs to be met has been met.
Thank you, Commissioner Miller. Do I have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Walsh on a second. Additional questions, concerns from our crew before we call roll? Clerk, please call roll.
Commissioner Walsh?
Yes.
Commissioner Doherty?
Yes.
Chairman Strack?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Sabota?
Yes.
Commissioner Thacker?
Yes.
Commissioner Gerda?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Excellent. And I
Thank
can
you,
excuse you
gentlemen.
because it's only once, so we're good.
Yes.
At this time, I'd like to close file Z938. Thank you, Doug. We'll be in touch.
Thank you, everyone.
Stand by while I get my mess ready here.
Staff, please give us your report.
Next meeting, October 17th.
Looks like items on that agenda, sir?
Not yet. Questionable if we have one, so we'll see.
Excellent. I believe I sent you an email about that meeting. Did I?
Oh, right, yes, you did, yes.
I think I am out on
Yes,
that meeting.
yes,
And I
Roger's
will
in.
have
Yeah, my eye
Vice
surgery-
Commissioner.
My eye surgery's been scrapped.
Oh, it has?
The eye surgery.
Good.
We
Well,
told him you
excellent.
were
So
out, so he scrapped it.
Commissioner Thacker will fill in for me at that meeting, and I appreciate that, Roger.
Yes, sir.
At this time, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Thacker. Do I have a second? Commissioner Gerda on a second. Anyone opposed? Meeting's adjourned.